Hey, welcome back to this mini lecture. This one's on, it's titled, It's a Small World After All, question mark. This lecture is focused on the idea of the small world experiment, which was done many, many years ago, but it's a bit of an iconic social science experiment. It's a social experiment. Its focus is on the path link for US social networks at the time, uh, back before social media, but conducted by the great Stanley Milgram, who was quite a social scientist. It was run, just FYI, just so you know, it was run well before social media platforms came into existence. It was in fact done in 1969, so it's an oldie but a goodie, as they say. The method for the small world experiment was participants were given these mailed information packets, and they started in Omaha, Nebraska, and in Wichita, Kansas. And then these packets were forwarded on to acquaintances to eventually get to a end person in Boston, Massachusetts. So basically, it's like given to one person, they mail it to a person that they know. That person mails it to a person they know, and they wanted to find out how many times, how many paths it takes to get from Omaha and Wichita to Boston, Massachusetts. As you can see here, for those of you who are forget your grade school and high school geography, the start is there on the lower left, uh, and the big red start button on the right, and the big green button finish in Massachusetts. So the method was again to give these information packets, have them start in Omaha, Wichita, go to Boston. What do you think is the average path link? Any guesses? Any guesses? Any guesses? 6. And I'm sure many of you have thought of these paths, these degrees of separation, this idea of 6 degrees of separation between people was popularized by the great playwright John Guar in his play 6 Degrees of Separation. From this, it's a very simple thing to think about. Due to the social media era, since now we've gone much past beyond mailing information to one another, we have the potential to shorten six-path distance pretty easily. If you had Facebook, which most of you do, and say you're in a developed nation that uses Facebook, you could put in the person's name and you could directly contact them like that. I used to work for a popular broadcaster, and the booker for the show, instead of looking through a phone book, etc., she would, for a story where they needed to find someone they didn't know, they would go to Facebook, search the person's name or a relative, and contact them that way. That was the preferred way. And this is a couple years ago. So that's a really easy way to find someone. And this is not something I've resolved, and I don't know if anyone's resolved. What are the social implications of shortened connections between people? Does this embolden us to contact people beyond our social networks? If we are emboldened, what does this mean about social spaces? Is it really good that we can do this? Does it have negative impacts? Who really knows? Thank you for listening to this short mini lecture on the small world experiment. It is a small world after all. Have a great night or day.